So, hello everybody, welcome back to the platform of An Academy. And today we are going to discuss a very small and a very basic topic that is left from our discussion in nephrology. So, soon we are going to start the quiz on nephrology so that we can see what are the important topics that needs to be covered very nicely in nephrology. And these are small topics which are very high yielding and they help you to get a very good number of marks if you're able to answer them rightly. So, HSP is one very special topic out of your even vasculitic syndrome and also from your nephrology part. So both of the parts, both of the units are very important. So the presentation is very unique and the pediatric age group is the hallmark. Therefore, you definitely can get questions from this topic. So before we start the lesson, let us just discuss about the subscription part. So we all know that An Academy is giving you a lot of good subscriptions now. So we have a lot of options for all of you who are planning to take any subscription for the upcoming exams, which is NEET PG next year, 2022 or even 2023, for your INICT exam and also for your exams, that is your FMG exam. So we have one of the most basic subscriptions, which is the Plus subscription that we have to offer. So under Plus subscription, you get a lot of benefits. So this is basically useful for those who want to have a complete blueprint of your preparation. So it is very important that all of you start to feel that if you have a complete a blueprint कि हाँ मुझे कैसे क्या पढ़ना है कितने टाइम में क्या सब्जेक्ट कंप्लीट करना है, so you get restricted that yes, you have 20 days to finish the subject, and whatever lectures you listen, whatever books you follow, whatever lectures that you have seen and marked, that you have to revise it from there, whatever material you have accumulated during these 5 to 6 months of preparation, that is going to form the foundation of your preparation ahead. So it is very important that all of you subscribe first, because if you follow a particular pathway that yes, you have to study like this, it is very nice that if your syllabus is completed well in time, you get a lot of time for revision. So revision is the key to success. So if you revise nicely, you get to revise everything during those last few days, so everything remains very fresh in your mind, and then you don't feel that hesitation or that confusion before going to the examination hall. So if you go with that confidence that you're prepared for the exam, so it gives you a very good rank, and definitely you don't feel that anxiety and all those stress like that. So if you're a subscriber, you have a lot of good options. First thing which I like the most is that you get access to both live and recorded classes. So under this, it is very nice option for all of you, because if you're having access to both the classes, it is going to help you prepare for your exam very nicely. So whenever you feel that yes, there's a problem from like you don't have time from your busy schedule, or you have missed any particular class, so this is not going to help you waste that particular day. अगर आपने decide कर लिया कि हाँ मुझे 15 दिन में pediatrics का ये पूरा part finish करना है, and supposedly you have a duty on a particular day, so you don't have to switch over to the next subject. You can just listen to the class, that is the recorded version of the class, when you're available for from your busy schedule. So that is the problem with all of us, because we all are practicing doctors, so it becomes very difficult to like stay live in the classes or to attend all the classes that is being prepared for you. So this is the best thing, you don't have to be stressed out, you can just attend the recorded version of the class and still be on the track of your preparation. The best thing also which I like is that you get to learn from all the top educators over here. So the faculty has been selected with a lot of scrutiny, so you can easily rely on our notes and everything that we perform and everything that we give to you. So if you see the strike rate of so many subjects in the NEET PG exam, so you would realize that most of the subjects had got so many, more than 90-95% of strike rate, and even 100% in most of the subject, because whatever we guys teach you is definitely from the experience and from the expectation that what questions can come up in the upcoming exams. So जो भी questions अब आपके NEET PG में आ चुके, all those topics again become hot topics and the high yielding ones. So you need to revise them very thoroughly. Like from pediatrics, topics like nephrotic, which has been touched, malnutrition, which has been touched, SSP, which was a rare question. So whatever topics they touch, maybe next time you get a question related to it. So it is very important, and plus you also get this access to question bank, which 25,000 plus questions. Now this is also very important, because if you know that yes, you have to prepare for an exam and you have like so many subjects to read, 19 subjects altogether to study, so if you have a kind of question bank also to help you assist in the theory part, so once you do the question, even if you read the theory along with it, so all the important points get covered over there. The more number of times you come across a topic, the more number of times your brain registers the same point, the more concrete your concepts become. So this is very important, because if you study something, then you're able to understand that yes, I have conquered this topic and I can answer any question which comes from this topic. So, also very important, once you finish your theory, there are two phases of preparation. First phase is your preparation of finishing the course, and the second phase is the preparation where you start to get into the competition. So, it also offers you competitive experiences like your live tests and quizzes. So appearing into grand test is very very important. If you start to appear into grand test, it becomes very nice because this is going to give you a confidence from inside. You will be able to understand that yes, you're doing the right thing and your rank is improving drastically. So each time you give the test, you see your own mistakes, you see that yes, what you have done in the exam, what kind of mistakes you make, whether you're in a hurry to answer a question, whether you were not able to recall a question, an answer. So everything, you know, your behavior towards the exam. So that is one very important point over here. You also get to study on the device of your choice. So this is the best thing that I feel. Even if you're busy in your duty or you're right in the middle of some traveling or anything, so even if you feel like that yes, you have enough time to listen to a class and you can take out time, so you can just log in from your phone, from laptop, from your tablet, desktop, anywhere. Even in the comfort of your study room, you can just sit and listen to the classes, make your own notes. So everything is very, very simplified over here. That is why we keep telling to please take the subscription. Also, those who are going to take 12 months and above subscription, these people are definitely going to get a benefit of having printed set of notes. Now above the plus subscription, those who really want to prepare very very nicely, we have this special subscription known as the Iconic. So this is a combo subscription which is a combination of Unacademy and PrepLadder. So under this, it is very very useful because you get a combination of this, and plus you get exposed to two important platforms which is going to boost up your own confidence towards the exam. So from Unacademy, we have the plus subscription where you get all the recorded and the live classes. You get the question bank, you get the live tests and quizzes, and you also get the digital set of notes. So everything becomes very very simplified for you. From the Prep Ladder team, you again get all the special integrated classes, the video classes, the question banks, the rapid revision courses, and also the dream set of notes. So all of this is going to help you boost up your preparation. Now, for those who want to take the Plus subscription, we have a special surprise and a good offer that you can appear into the scholarship test. So the scholarship test is going to offer you a nice benefit that if you get a good rank, that is even rank 1, then you can definitely enroll with us at a very subsidized cost, that is no cost at all. So your plus subscription for 1 year would be given to those who get rank 1, 2 and 3. From rank 4 to 10 you get 75% scholarship discount. From rank 11 to 50 you get 50% scholarship discount. From rank 51 to 200, you get 25% scholarship discount. So this exam is going to happen on 10th of October at 11 a.m. So all of those who are interested to take this, definitely you should give a try on this exam. So you can use my invite code, which is Kavita S10. If you put down this code, you can easily appear into this exam, which you need to unlock for free. So you can put down this code and you can appear into this exam and bank the scholarship. So this is the thing that I'm telling you. Those who are planning to take any subscription as of now, please go for Iconic. Reason being two, first that it is the best running subscription that we have, and personally, even I feel that you should have access to at least two platforms to test yourself, your knowledge, your preparation. So Iconic is the best in that way. And second, there's a sudden price drop for all of you, those who want to subscribe, but that is limited. So the first 500 candidates who come up with my code, that is Kavita S10, those students are going to get special discount, which is a price drop to this much value. Can you see, like 12 months may 45,000, it has dropped down to 38,250. In 18 months from 50,000 it has dropped down to 42,750. Likewise for 24 months, instead of 55 you have to pay only 47,250, and similarly for the other months. So depending upon your duration that you have for your exam to prepare for, you can take the subscription, which is going to be definitely very, very useful. Now this test has already happened. So all of those who have appeared for it must be a good experience to all of you. Now, those who are preparing seriously for the upcoming exam, which are three, that is NEET PG 2022, INICT 2021, and FMG 2021. So, for all of you, we have fresh batches running right now from 29th of September. For NEET PG, we have a 6 months duration batch. So, you have all the top educators in this panel who are going to frame and teach you very, very nicely for the exam. So this is going to be a very good experience because everything is already prepared. Every chapter, every unit is going to be taught to you in a well structured manner. So you get all the class notes, live classes, recorded classes, the practice questions, and everything is going to be available to you, right? Then you have the mission INICT 2021. Those who are preparing, it's a fast marathon kind of a revision batch for 1 month duration, where again you get a crash course revision for all your classes, and you'll be able to attend everything, the recorded version, live classes, the grand test, the crash course. Everything will be structured for you for the INICT exam. Now we have also have got the FMG 2021 for a 2 months duration, again starting from 29th September. So those who want to be a part of it, you can join in. Again, you're going to get all the benefits and you'll be able to prepare for your exam with a rapid revision course, and all of it is going to be very, very useful for you. Then we also have the clinical examination and procedures batch. Now this is for MBBS final year students, those who want to get their hands clear on the clinical aspects. So we have the various modules and various educators who are going to help you prepare for this exam. So it is very, very useful because it's going to help you to understand the clinical part of your exam preparation, and that is very, very important as it will help you to prepare for the exam and you can definitely do your practical exams very nicely. Now we have other offers like 24 plus 4 and 12 plus 2 offer. So those who want to take the subscription, you can take the subscription for this duration like 24 months and 12 months, and you get additional 4 months and 2 months access to your course, which is free of cost. So whatever things you have forgotten to like prepare, or whatever things you have not read in detail, you can easily start to prepare that during this duration of time. So it is going to help you to prepare for your exam, and this offer is going to be very, very useful because whatever you prepare you can easily access the course for additional duration of time. So that is going to help you in revision as well, and that is also going to help you to prepare for further exams nicely. So I request all of you to take the duration that is there till your exam, so that you have the same source available for you to revise and study properly. So if you don't take this kind of preparation course, so what happens, अगर आपने सोच लिया कि 6 months के लिए मैं ये ले लेता हूँ course and then I'll finish it off, and then you're done with the course, that is going to be very problematic. Because if you just take a 6 months duration course and you switch over to another duration material, or you switch over to another course, it is going to help you, it is going to make you feel so palpitated with your preparation, क्योंकि जो चीज़ जहाँ से पढ़ते हो वहीं से रिवाइज करना बेस्ट है. सो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू चूज योर ड्यूरेशन एडिक्वेटली. जो चीज़ आपने जहाँ से पढ़ी है वहीं से रिवाइज करना इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉजिकल थिंग टू डू. So whenever you have to subscribe, please go to the NEET PG section, select the duration that you want to take for your course. Once you do that, you only have to go to payment option. And once you pay, you have to put my code, which is Kavita S10. So if you please, you can put this code, you will get all the available discounts from the Unacademy team, and especially the iconic part that I told you, which has got a very, very less rate at this point of time. Okay, so let's begin with today's topic. So we'll discuss this topic very patiently because it is a very, very high yield topic, and any kind of question can come from here, right from image based question to concept based MCQs, anything can be asked to you. So regarding HSP, now it comes under two parts. First, it is a vasculitic disorder. ठीक है, vasculitic disorder कहने का मतलब है that the vessels are also affected, and because of this you get a presentation of the palpable purpura. It also has got an immune complex mediated reaction towards your vessels. So that is why it is a small vessel disorder and it is a vasculitic disorder as well. Plus it has got renal part, that is renal complications, which is very, very grave, that happens in HSP. So that is why it is a very, very important topic. It is a part of two important units that we do in pediatrics. Now HSP is known as henoch-Schönlein purpura. So you should know the full form of this as well. Now the exact cause of happening of HSP is not known till date. It is an idiopathic disease. That means we don't know why HSP happens in pediatrics, but it is postulated that it is basically an immune complex mediated vasculitis. So if anybody asks you, then you should know that it is an immune mediated disorder. It is an immune mediated disorder. It is basically associated with one very classical thing. Now, it is a small vessel vasculitis, as I told you. So, what is going to happen to the vessel? तो स्मॉल वेसल वैस्कुलाइटिस कहने का मतलब जो हमारे बॉडी के बहुत सारे स्मॉल वेसल्स है, दे गेट डिस्ट्रॉयड विद दिस इन्फ्लेमेटरी चेंजेस. सो व्हाई डज दिस हैपन? This happens because of classical deposition of IgA. So IgA is one very very important keyword that all of you should be aware of in this disorder. So IgA deposition is very very classical in your henoch-Schönlein purpura. So if you see the biopsies, you can see the IgA getting deposited in the small blood vessels. So even in the skin and all the complications of the other parts or the other organs that is there, like renal part, skin part, even it has got some CNS complication, pulmonary complications. So all of that is because of the small vessel involvement. Now it is the most common small vessel vasculitis in children. This question has been asked many number of times. So please get hold of this question. Which is the most common small vessel vasculitis in pediatrics? The answer is HSP. There is no doubt about it. So it is a very common disorder that occurs in pediatrics, which is related to the small vessel vasculitis. Now, the age group of the disease is very important. There are many disease that presents with palpable purpura. Okay. So if you get a question in your exam and the age group mentioned lies between the school going age, that is like 3 to 6 years or 4 to 6 years of age. So the school going age, if mentioned, your answer should get diverted towards HSP. If any age is beyond less than 3 years or any age which is more than the school going age like 6 years, so then you should not think classically about HSP. It can happen definitely, but you should also run towards the other differentials of having a palpable purpura. So classical age at which HSP would present is the school going age, that is 3 to 6 years approximately. Now, 90% of cases occur in children, so mostly it is a pediatric question only that you would get. But about half of the cases are mostly preceded by a history of having upper respiratory tract infection. So, although we say that it is an immune mediated reaction, that is an immune mediated complex reaction that happens, but there is generally a history of sore throat that usually happens before the onset of HSP. So fever, redness, congestion, sore throat, ऐसी history is usually given in the question before the onset of having henoch-Schönlein purpura. Now the characterization of HSP is very classical. You should be very sure about what does it consist of. So you should just remember this triad, which is your purpuric, palpable purpura. So palpable purpura is very classical thing that is happening over here. So even if you can get an image based question on the same, and also you can get a simple one liner MCQ. So palpable purpura. Purpuric rashes have a very peculiar color. If you see, I'll show you the image also. This purpuric rashes has got a very peculiar bluish black kind of a color. It is not properly red also. It is neither hyperpigmented like brown and black. It has got a very hueish, bluish kind of a tinge to the color. So this palpable purpura or palpable purpuric rash is the most characteristic finding that we see in HSP patient. This has to be given in your question or in the image which is shown. इसके अलावा patient has got arthritis and there is classical history of pain abdomen not resolving to any of the treatment. So pain abdomen with your palpable purpura and arthritis, that is your bone pain. These three features, if classically given, it means that the clinical manifestation that they are asking about is HSP. Now, 50% of the patients who develop HSP, or even more than 50%, they develop the renal manifestations very commonly. Okay, so renal involvement is seen in more than maximum number of cases. So the renal manifestations that we talk about, we'll see that it is mainly the nephritic kind of picture. ठीक है, फर्स्ट क्लास नेफ्रोटिक पे मैंने जब लिया था देन वी हैड डिस्कस्ड इन डिटेल द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन नेफ्राइटिक एंड नेफ्रोटिक. तो नेफ्राइटिक पिक्चर जब भी होती है उसमें क्लासिकली बीपी, हेमेचूरिया and deranged renal function. These are the classical things that we expect that will happen in a nephritic. Whereas in nephrotic, what do we expect most? We expect most proteinuria to happen and swelling in the body. That is anasarca due to hypoalbuminemia. That is not the case that we see in HSP. So any question that mentions hematuria or any question that mentions increased BP along with palpable purpura, pain abdomen, arthritis, any photo of the skin biopsy is given, any deposition of IgA is mentioned, then they all mean that they are talking about HSP. So this is a very, very important question. You can get it framed in different ways. So you should know all the important clinical features that is present over here. Now, renal manifestations can vary from a different range to a different range. It can be absolutely asymptomatic. That means the patient can just have microscopic hematuria. We cannot even see a gross hematuria. So there's only asymptomatic microscopic hematuria, or it could also have a very severe progressive glomerulonephritis. That means the patient can rapidly can definitely present with glomerulonephritis. So proper nephritic syndrome could be the setting, or there could be absolutely asymptomatic hematuria. So anything can happen in this case. So both the findings are possible. Now HSP nephritis shares a similar picture with IgA nephropathy. Why? Because they have both IgA. But the clinical picture is absolutely different. If you remember from our discussion that we discussed in the nephrotic part, when we had started discussing about the post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, we had also discussed one question, which is the most common cause of gross hematuria. So gross hematuria अगर कहीं भी present करता है, that is basically your IgA nephropathy, and this has been legalized, or I could say this has been given as an answer now without any doubt. If you're asked most common cause of gross hematuria in pediatrics, the answer is IgA nephropathy. ठीक है, no doubts about it. Please don't go for UTI and stones or any other answer. It is IgA nephropathy. ठीक है, so it has a similar picture to IgA. Now please look at this image very, very carefully. This is the exact finding that you can get in your image-based question if you have framed a question from your HSP part. So can you see the color of these lesions? They are little towards the purplish tinge. It is neither very black, it is neither very brown nor absolutely red like dengue rashes, and they are palpable. The most important part is if you just palpate them, you can feel that they are like palpable kind of lesions, so elevated from the skin. Okay, so palpable purpura इसी को कहते हैं. So this is all because of the vasculitic changes that is happening. So this is the classical lesion that you see in a patient. Even in a small baby, you can see involving in the legs and the trunks. Now, another very important feature is that they always start from the dependent areas. Now, many people have this concept that it starts from the buttocks and extends towards the leg. That is also right, but the exact concept is it starts from the dependent areas mostly, and then it extends towards the extremities. That is why there you always get a question जिसमें लिखा होता है the rashes were first noticed on the buttocks and then it extended towards the extremities. ठीक है, so dependent areas पे ये rashes होना ज़्यादा common होता है. So palpable purpura is this kind of picture, so you should definitely be able to recognize it. Okay, all right, so what basically happens? Why do we get HSP? What is the pathogenesis of HSP? So as I told you, it is all to do with the deposition of IgA. तो पूरा खेल हमारे IgA का है. It is an immune mediated reaction that is happening. Now if anything gets deposited in the glomeruli, what will happen? It will invite more damage towards itself because the complexes will be formed, the antigen antibody gets attached to each other. Because of this, all the chemical mediators and all the chemical reactions get induced and triggered inside the body. So that is going to lead to the problem. So deposition of immunoglobulin A in the glomeruli. This is the whole sole problem that is happening in the renal manifestation of HSP. So what is going to happen? Now why is it getting deposited? Also, there is a defective glycosylation of the hinge region of IgA1 in these patients. So this is another very important information that I want to give over here. There is defective glycosylation of the hinge region of IgA1 in these patients. Now what happens basically, the recognition of this exposed hinge region of IgA1, when this gets exposed, by naturally occurring autoantibodies, it leads to formation of immune complexes. As I told you, जितना ज़्यादा deposition होगा, जितना ज़्यादा exposure होगा, it will get identified by the body and these complexes will begin to form. So जैसे ही हमारे immune complexes बनने शुरू हो जाते हैं, what will they go? They will get and deposited. What would they do? They will definitely get deposited in the glomerular mesangium. Once they get deposited over here, all the chemical mediators and all the chemical reactions get stimulated. So because of this, there is going to be necrotizing vasculitis. That is how your vessels get damaged. So the whole problem lies with the problem of IgA. जितना ज़्यादा IgA deposit होगा हमारे glomeruli में उतना ज़्यादा damage होगा. So it is defective glycosylation of the hinge region of IgA1. Please remember this term. Now because this gets recognized, recognition of this exposed hinge region of IgA1 by naturally occurring autoantibodies, this will lead to the formation of immune complexes. Once the immune complexes are formed, they get deposited in the mesangium part of the glomeruli. Because of this, there is going to be leading necrotizing vasculitis. Okay, so once the deposition are occurring, that is going to create a problem because it will invite all the chemical mediators, and these chemical mediators are going to lead to the problem. These chemical mediators are going to will lead to the problem of necrotizing vasculitis. Okay, so that is the exact pathogenesis that is happening over here. ठीक है, so इस पर दो क्वेश्चन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके. एक तो IgA1 की एक्सपोजर एंड दूसरा getting deposited in the glomerular mesangium, that is the immune complex part. These are the two keywords that you should remember. Now any mucosal infection or any kind of food antigen, anything can trigger the increased production of pathogenic IgA1. ठीक है, अब जितना ज्यादा IgA1 हमारी बॉडी में इंक्रीज होगा बिकॉज ऑफ एनी रिएक्शन, एनी फूड ट्रिगर, एनी काइंड ऑफ म्यूकोजल डैमेज, सो the amount of this is going to increase, so the number of immune complexes getting deposited will also increase. जितना deposition बढ़ेगा उतना ज्यादा glomerular mesangium की damage होगी. It will lead to more necrotizing vasculitis. Even if you do a skin biopsy, so skin biopsy will also show you a very classical finding, the name of which is very, very important. This is known as leukocytoclastic vasculitis. In fact, practically most of the time, skin biopsy is done more easily to demonstrate the IgA deposition rather than doing a renal biopsy. So even if we do a skin biopsy, you will see that there is leukocytoclastic vasculitis. Now this word is very, very important. Many times you can also get leukocytoclastic vasculitis as the name of HSP. So what is basically leukocytoclastic vasculitis? Now vasculitis, we all know, is the inflammation of the vessel wall. So we will see that all these depositions in your biopsy finding, you will see all these depositions are coming and attacking your vessel wall. So you can actually find IgA, C3 and other deposits which are coming and attacking the vessel wall, which will lead to your vessel problem or which is going to lead to the problem of vasculitis. Okay? So we also have this pathognomic IgA deposits which are getting detected by immunofluorescence as the dominant immunoglobulin in the glomerular mesangium. So this is also very, very important finding. So if you get that immunofluorescence is being done and immunofluorescence may you have got IgA deposits in the glomerular mesangium. So this IgA deposit is going to be very, very classical for your HSP. Now histologically, a broad spectrum of glomerular lesions that can range from even mild mesangial and endocapillary proliferation to complete necrotic recentering changes can be seen. So the damage spectrum could be anything. Okay, damage could be anything. It could be a simple proliferation, or it could be a complete necrotic change. So depending on the amount of IgA which is given, IgA1 कितना है, कितना expose हुआ है, कितना ज़्यादा immune complex बना है, कितनी deposition हुई है और कितना necrotizing vasculitis है, everything is going to give the spectrum of damage that has occurred. So this is the pathogenesis which will start immediately when your immune complex formation has already started, right? Now once the immune complex formation has started, what do we expect from the patient? So what are the clinical features that we expect from the patient? So the classical clinical tetrad of HSP, initially it was a triad, now it is a tetrad. So what do we expect? Palpable purpura, obviously. Arthritis or arthralgia, both are included. Abdominal pain and evidence of renal dysfunction is now included because most common organ that gets damaged from HSP is your renal system. So this has become the fourth most important part, that HSP is a classical tetrad. If a patient presents with palpable purpura, with history of abdominal pain, with arthritis or arthralgia and evidence of having renal disease. So derangement in renal function is also very, very important. Now, the nephritis associated with HSP usually follows the onset of rash. So, if anybody asks you which is the first most common manifestation seen in HSP, it is the skin manifestation. Therefore, whenever we suspect any skin manifestation like a palpable purpura, you should definitely send the patient for skin biopsy to demonstrate whether it is a leukocytoclastic lesion or not. Many a times, if you do a skin biopsy, then also you can find the features of HSP and you can suspect that it will lead to glomerulonephritis. Okay? So the nephritis associated with HSP always, usually, and even always follows the onset of the rash. Now, renal involvement per se is not that it is going to happen 100%. Although it is very characteristic, it happens in 50 to 60% cases of HSP, and it is more commonly seen in older children. That means the age being more than 8 years. Okay? So, as the age increases, the renal dysfunction also increases. So, most of the patients initially will have very mild renal symptoms. Maybe they have only microscopic hematuria, which does not even get noticed. Instead, only 20% of patients will present with a severe renal involvement. That is why what I told you in the last slide, whenever you find a patient who is having a palpable purpura and you don't have exact diagnosis for it, there can be features of abdominal pain, arthritis, but renal disease has not set up till now. Still, you should send the patient for for skin biopsy, because many a times you can demonstrate this leukocytoclastic changes or this leukocytoclastic kind of a damage in the vessel. So if you can demonstrate this, you will be sure that maybe this patient is a case of HSP. So 80 versus 20 है proportion, so it is very vivid. 80% में बहुत ही minimal symptoms होते हैं which can even go unnoticed. Maybe if you do urine RBCs, you can see that it has got microscopic hematuria. 20% of the patients can at times present with severe renal involvement. Now, the severity of systemic manifestations is not correlated with the severity of nephritis. Okay, so this is a very important point. जो systemic manifestations है हमारा, that does not mean that how severe renal has been involved, that severe only the other systems would be involved. There are many systems which get involved. It has got pulmonary complications, it has got CNS complications, it has got renal complications, but that doesn't mean कि renal अगर कम था तो बाकी disorders या बाकी manifestations भी कम severe होंगे. Therefore, for renal analysis, we need to do a urine checkup. So, urine analysis should be performed weekly in patients who have HSP during the period of active clinical disease. So, urine analysis is very important. Also, on follow up, you should advise a routine urine examination for up to 6 to 7 months of follow up to see the part of that is the hematuria problem. If all the urine analysis come to be normal during the follow-up period, then nephritis is unlikely to develop. So it is not that once there is a milder onset of renal manifestations, it will not get complicated. 20% of patients, even those who have minor symptoms and also those who did not have any such symptom, can get complicated to severe forms of nephritis. Now, this is a very important slide. As we always discuss what are the indications of renal biopsy. We have discussed in nephrotic also. So, you should know when do we do a renal biopsy in children of HSP. As I told you, skin biopsy is more commonly advised and practically it is more commonly done. But when would you go for a renal biopsy in a patient of HSP? Okay. Now, we all know that कोई भी चीज biopsy करने के लिए we always proceed towards it if we are not able to make a diagnosis. So when we are not able to make a diagnosis, that means we are dealing with some kind of atypical picture in HSP. तो अगर HSP में हमें normal findings से कुछ atypical मिल रहा है, then we are sure that we have to do a biopsy because we are not able to establish the diagnosis of this. So we have seen that it is presenting like a nephritic disease. So nephritis में क्या proteinuria होता है? It is not that common. So if you see a patient of HSP, but you see that the patient is having significant proteinuria for a long duration of time, that is urine protein is more than 1 gram per day. So this becomes an atypical picture. So you would definitely like to do a skin biopsy for this problem. If the urine protein upon creatinine ratio is also more than 1, that means protein is getting lost from the patient. So urine protein upon creat ratio if more than 1, then also you need to do a complete checkup. That means a complete diagnosis of this case. So renal biopsy is indicated. If there is significant hypertension, that means hypertension is definitely there in nephritic. But if you have got this persistent significant hypertension picture, then again you would plan to do a renal biopsy. Or there is elevated serum creatinine. Now renal dysfunction is definitely present, but that is a part of nephritic disease which is going to resolve. So if you don't see any resolution in these and you feel that the problem is still persisting, persistent hypertension or persistent serum creatinine effect or persistent proteinuria चल रहा हो patient में, या UP-UC ratio is also increased. So in all these atypical presentation, what we can do, we can do a renal biopsy to confirm whether we have this deposition of IgA or not. If yes, then maybe we are dealing with HSP, which has got some atypical presentation, or if it is not present, maybe we are not at all dealing with HSP. So this is a very important slide. So I've directly picked up the images so that you at least have an idea of what you have to look or what can be given in the exam. So what we expect in a vasculitic disorder, first thing that we expect that whichever area has been given to the exam in your exam, that shows an inflammation of the glomerular capillaries. So because of the deposition and because of leukocytoclastic changes, there is going to be inflammation of the glomerular capillaries. So you can find that there are inflammatory changes. This presentation of granulomatous kind of a presentation that is present. If you do an immunofluorescence, you can get IgA deposits in the glomeruli, which is possible to visualize only on immunofluorescence. So if you get this kind of image, maybe you can be asked what is the deposit or what is the arrow marking at, and you get a clinical picture saying that a 7-year-old male presented to you with features of decreased urine passage, had a history of fever 10 to 12 days back. The patient is having severe pain abdomen, not responding to normal treatment, has got pain in bilateral legs, is having a kind of a skin rash. So a clinical picture is mentioned to you and they say that the immunofluorescence image of a skin biopsy or glomerular biopsy has been given. What is the most likely deposit seen here? So you know that they are discussing about HSP. So you should be very clear that obviously immunofluorescence में तो मुझे IgA दिखता है. So this is how the questions can be interchanged and framed. So you can be asked that what is this arrow, or you could be given a complete description that this is the arrow showing IgA deposition on immunofluorescence, which is the clinical disease related to this. So both ways the question can be framed. Then even if you do a skin biopsy, which is instead more common that we do, so in skin biopsy also, what will you find? You will see that there is inflammation of the small vessels in the skin. So this kind of inflammatory changes can be seen in the biopsy material, and you also find IgA deposit in the small vessels of the skin, which is seen by the immunofluorescence microscopy. So IF examination IgA दिखना, ठीक है, और HPE मतलब आपका जो sections है उसमें आपकी inflammatory changes दिखना, ठीक है. These both suggest that we are dealing with leukocytoclastic vasculitis. Alright, so vessels ke in and around, if you have got this kind of presentation, then we are dealing with leukocytoclastic vasculitis. Okay. Now the prognosis and treatment part. So it is very important to understand that this disease basically is a reaction of our renal part towards the insulting antigen or towards the exposure of IgA1 that has happened. So mainly it is a self-limiting disease also. That means whatever complications have occurred will definitely get resolved. So we don't need to overtreat this kind of a disease, but it is definitely important to manage the complications and end organ damages which is occurring. Okay. So the prognosis of HSP nephritis for most of the patient is excellent. That means it is a self-resolving disease. So self-resolution is definitely expected. Therefore, the prognosis is very good that we consider. Now, spontaneous and complete resolution of nephritis can occur in majority of the cases. If you are completely untreated the patient, that means the patient has not been given any management towards the complication, or the patient has not been attended properly towards the renal part, like अगर nephritic था, अगर higher side पे BP था तो antihypertensives देना. So whatever complications are there, if that is also completely untreated, then the risk of developing chronic kidney disease, that means the end stage renal disease, could be 2 to 5% in patients of HSP. So CKD develop hona या end stage renal disease develop hona is very rare in HSP because we usually expect that it is going to self-resolve. But even if it happens only in 2 to 5% of patients who would develop this kind of presentation. So no evidence-based guidelines exist for the treatment of HSP nephritis. So we actually do not have that ये antibiotic देना है या इतना fluid देना है. There is no guideline as such that how to treat. So we expect that it is a self-resolving situation. So it will resolve without leaving any end-stage damage. Now one thing which has been given is that tonsillectomy that has been proposed as an intervention for HSP nephritis because it is related to some kind of upper respiratory tract infection also. So this has been postulated. So you can get a rare one-liner on this, or maybe a part of multiple choice options that all of the statements are true except. So in that, this could be one of the lines which is mentioned. So you should know that tonsillectomy has been postulated as an intervention for HSP nephritis. Now, mild HSP nephritis does not require any treatment. It can resolve spontaneously on its own. Okay. Now, also it is very important that many of the treatment or many of our textbooks also mention that there is a very good benefit because it is an immune complex mediated disease. It is an immune complex mediated disease. So it is expected that if you do an aggressive immunosuppression treatment, that means if you give long high doses of corticosteroid courses along with the second line drugs like azathioprine, MMF and cyclophosphamide in patients who are more expected to complicate further. That means those who have got poor prognostic features on a renal biopsy that we had discussed, such patients are at high risk that they will develop end-stage renal disease. So they don't complicate from simple nephritic towards chronic the chronic kidney disease or end-stage renal disease. We try to give them aggressive immunosuppression so that this immune complex damage of the vessels does not occur. So the treatment of high-risk patients with either plasmapheresis or rituximab have now been indicated to be beneficial. So these two drugs become very, very important for your exam. So plasmapheresis process can definitely benefit. So this is a theoretical part. Practically, we don't do plasmapheresis for HSP patients, but definitely if we do, it can be beneficial. And rituximab has also now been established to have a role in the treatment of HSP. So these two are important updates that could be a part of your questions in the exam. So balancing the absence of control data with the severe side effects of aggressive therapies in patients with poor renal prognostic factors is difficult, but still, we say that these two have got some kind of beneficial effects or a potential benefit is expected if it is done in HSP patients. Now, people or children who have got severe clinical renal involvement, that means they have atypical kind of presentation with nephrotic range of proteinuria, or they have persistent increase in serum creatinine, or they have persistent hypertension, or UP-UC ratio is also increased. These children जिसमें renal involvement बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, so steroid has got very important role in HSP, but उसके indications बहुत specific है. So this is one indication that if they have severe clinical form of renal involvement, that means they have all those atypical pictures that we had discussed, persistent hypertension है, persistent hematuria है, creatinine raised है, nephrotic range proteinuria, then all of them should be treated with oral prednisolone. Dose कितनी है उसकी? Simple 1 mg per kg per day for 3 months. ठीक है. So this is a simple dose which is given to them. For BP control, you can add ACE inhibitors in the patients who have got hypertension as a part of their HSP, and this can be followed with tapering of the steroid and stopping. So you can add the second line drugs like azathioprine and MMF also. So steroid therapy, second line agents like azathioprine and MMF, and also management of hypertension with ACE inhibitors. All of this could be done in the patients of HSP. Okay. Now, for children with severe histologic manifestations, that means they have more than 50% glomerular crescents. So, as we had discussed, rapidly progressing glomerulonephritis, that means those diseases would go into severe stages of crescentic formation. So, crescents जहाँ पे बन जाते, they have a very, very poor prognosis. So, crescent formation is not specific to any disease. It can occur in any of the nephritic syndrome. So it can occur in any kind of nephritic syndrome. So whenever we have these crescent formation, if it is more than 50% of the involvement of the glomeruli, it is a very, very severe manifestation. So in these cases where we have RPGN kind of picture, what can we do? We have to do a very aggressive immunosuppression. So only indication for giving intravenous methylprednisolone pulse dose for 3 days is when the renal biopsy picture is very, very bad. That means अगर patient का atypical presentation था और हमने उसकी renal biopsy की, we are seeing that they have got more than 50% of the glomeruli involvement as crescent. So अगर RPGN की picture mentioned है या crescents mentioned है question में, that means that they are talking about a severe form of the disease. So उसकी treatment क्या है? We can give IV pulse therapy of methylprednisolone. After this, we can shift them to oral prednisolone along with the second line agents like azathioprine and mycophenolate mofetil, which can be considered. Now, with children For children with the most severe histology, that means more than 75% glomerular crescents are formed and they are going towards renal failure, intravenous steroid pulse plus intravenous steroids plus your plasmapheresis can be considered. So this is the last therapy that we can give. That means we can give them IV steroids plus plasmapheresis. So this is going to help the immune complexes to stop acting as soon as possible. Apart from this, those who finally progress towards end stage renal disease, we cannot do anything. We can only advise them a transplant. So a complete damage of the renal system can also occur if nothing is done properly. Okay, so this was all about henoxazoline purpura. So this is a very, very important topic and a very small topic. That is why I've taken this class, so that all of you are very, very clear with it and there is no confusion that is left related to this topic. So a lot of questions can be expected to come from this topic, because it is a vasculitic disorder also, and also it is a part of your renal complication. Plus the image based question given over here is also very, very classical. So images are very important: palpable purpura, your findings on immunofluorescence, and your findings on your skin biopsy and renal biopsy. So please revise this topic, all of you, and very, very small topics which are left from nephrotic, which we need to discuss, that we are going to discuss very soon. So this image is very important. Please revise this and be sure that if a palpable purpura is given, then you have to go towards the age presentation. You should check the clinical features which are given. And even if they have given you the histopathological findings like this, so that means you should be sure that it is HSP. Okay. So thank you all of you for listening so patiently to the class. So we'll finish all these topics very, very soon. And we are going to meet up again with a small discussion on the topics left in nephro, and we also have a nephro quiz towards the end of this week. So we are going to discuss most of the important topics over there. So all the best to all of you, and thank you.